Good morning, Thomas.
Hi.
Welcome and thank you for your time and presence.
My pleasure to
So,
be here.
also mine. And so, I'm sure that many people know you already, but for those who don't know you yet, who is Thomas White?
Well, I'm going to answer this in two ways. Some people know me by my resume, which is the accomplishments I've had or the engagements I've had in the world, primarily in business, although some other areas, which is I've been an entrepreneur who's done a lot of creating things and was always looking for a new way to do something in the world that was adding value and uniqueness. That's the one side, but the other side is who's the human being that sits inside this skin. I'd say it's a curious being who never accepts the status quo as the answer. Because I look around and say, oh, what's going on? Is that satisfying to me? Is abuse satisfying to me? Is gender violence satisfying to me? No. Is pay inequity satisfying to me? Is climate change the way it's being handled as satisfying me? No. So I know that I can do something about it. So the me that's here is someone that knows that if my contributions at this time in the world's evolution can make a difference. So that's who I am. I'm an activator.
Hmm.
I'm an activator.
Nice. I love that. Is it okay if you share with me how did it start, Thomas?
I was a young 21-year-old man, and I was living in the United States, and I saw I was in the travel industry, and I thought, oh, it's really complicated for people, because this was before there were airline reservation systems, it was before we had automatic tickets, all that stuff, and I said, oh, there's got to be a better way. So this is the seed I was talking about. I look around and say, this is not effective. It's not a good use of humanity. What can we do about this? And the computers to take care of this particular situation were relatively new. So I said, well, let me find a solution. So I was looking at the small world of travel and airline tickets, and now I'm looking at the whole world. How can we solve this sense of separation we have, so that we can realize that we're all one, come from the same root? And when we realize that, war disappears, because I can't fight myself. I don't want to hurt myself. The disparities that we suffer will disappear. Hunger will disappear, because I don't want to be hungry. But we have to let go of and find the ways to let go of this belief we have that I'm separate from you, because as soon as I feel that I'm better than you. As soon as I start feeling I'm better than you, then it's okay for me to have more than you. Well, what if that's not true? What if anything I do that's not aligned and in harmony damages everything, including myself? If I look at our industry we extract minerals from the ground, there's nothing wrong with right-minded use. But do we take more out than we need? Well, probably. Do we waste? Yes. How much food do we waste? How much all these beautiful resources do we waste that we don't need them? So how about if we move to the place of what's really important to us? And so then how do we bring people together, starting with business leaders? And why business leaders, right? Business leaders, because we're tribal by nature as humans. And one of the primary tribes for people is the businesses they work for. They feel attracted, they feel like-minded people and like interests. The work is satisfying to them or meaningful. So that's their tribe. Then these business leaders are tribal leaders. Tribal leaders have a significant amount of responsibility. People look to them to do the deep work, to know what's the right decision, to know how to keep us on our moral compass, to know how we can be responsible for the impact we have in the world. So the people that work there expect leadership to do that. Now, for the most part, leadership doesn't do that. One of the reasons I like Symphony 7 is they want it to be different than that. So me too.
Yeah, I also feel the same way. Thomas, I just want to ask you, what could be done differently right now? what is it that you have, with your life that you have right now? What is it that you see that we could do different to
You know,
make
one
it
of the things that I find to be compelling that every day I find more examples of this, what I'm about to say, which is we do not want to be responsible.
Mm.
So I was reading a story about the chief executive officer of Boeing, the Boeing 737 Supermax, and these planes crashed.
Mm-hmm.
They knew there was risk, but they risked the lives of 700 people, more or less, and there was no responsibility. This person still got his bonuses. They got, so that's something about that says this is a corrupt system. So when
Mm-hmm.
I do something in the world, and I'm responsible. And this doesn't mean that I should be blamed. Blame is a whole different thing. People are afraid to be responsible because they're afraid of being blamed. No, I'm just responsible. I am the one. When I speak, what I think, what I feel, that's me. I do all that. Every action I take is me. It's not because someone said to me, go do that. No, I listen to them. I said, okay, I'll do that. But I'm the one that decides that. And to push that to somebody else and say they're responsible for me is a mistake. And that fundamental mistake is one of the three primary reasons we have a world that we're in, because there's very little responsibility. So if I'm not responsible, there was a woman who was assaulted on a subway, and people sit by and did nothing. And they listened to this 5-minute assault, and this woman was assaulted. That's terrible, right? So, but no one said, I'm responsible for humanity here. I'm going to step in, because they were afraid for themselves, I suppose. I don't know why, but where's our responsibility? So we can take it and make it simple. So we know businesses have certain practices. What if we only supported businesses that had practices that were aligned with what was most important to us? We do our work, we find out what those are, and we only support those businesses. But what we do generally is, well, it's not really convenient for me to do that. So we go with convenience, ease. I don't want to be put out. All right, well, what's the consequence of that? The cycle continues. 5,001 years, 5,002 years, continues and continues, because we have to be the component, the force that says, no, I'm going to do what I feel is best no matter what. No matter if it's inconvenient, no matter if I don't get that beautiful dress next week, no matter if I have a different kind of automobile, no matter if I have to live in a different apartment, no matter if I eat different food, I'm going to do what's best to be responsible on this planet.
Wow, that is powerful. Thank you. Another question that came to me is like, so what is the fundamental essence that, like this being that you are right now? What is the fundamental essence of a human being for you?
Well, so now let's look at this whole conversation about separateness, right? So, and responsibility, because they're tied together. So we've known for a long time that this body is a subset of the consciousness that I am. There is a consciousness that exists, whether we believe it or not, it still exists. And so what if all of my creative power really lied in consciousness rather than in the physical form? What if I could effortlessly create anything I chose if I went to consciousness and said, I'm creating this and I'm going to create something new? I'll give you an example in my own life. So, a week or so ago, someone said something to me. They said, they asked me a question. It says, are you a vegan, by email? Because this person that I want to introduce you to is a vegan. I said, no, I'm not. My business partner is, but I'm not. I'm on the path to it. So they sent me a note back. Oh, and they're not going to talk to you. So I said, okay, what's my lesson from this? Well, my lesson is I make sure that I don't close the door for people if they're different from me. Very interesting. I'm going to take that lesson. I'm going to make sure I don't do that. As soon as I declared that to myself, and I had that revelation, I was on the phone with somebody, I received an email, a second email says, oh, that was a mistake, the email I sent you. They want to meet with you. That fast. Boom. It happens all the time. because I went and found, well, this is my responsibility. There are places when I think I'm better than somebody else, where I don't want to include people because they're different than me. I judge them. So let me take responsibility for that. I'm going to change that. And as soon as I did, something brand new came into my abilities, my life. So that's how it works. Now, does it take a big leap? It does, because we're trained differently. We're taught differently. But why just start with little small things and start creating just a little differently, and watch this it happens. And people say, well, if you're a business leader, you can't do that. Sure, you can. Watch how it changes your business for the better. Watch how it changes your life for the better. So this is not about something that's like magical thinking. No, this is about dealing with the fundamental truth of how the universe works.
Wow. Yeah. So, wow. So what is your answer about for those people who want to start, or for those people who don't know where to start? Like, what would you say to them? Like,
So you start with making a commitment to be curious, because until we choose to be curious, and curiosity has a requirement with it. The requirement is, maybe I don't know. So how many people do you know they have an opinion and they'll continue to fight for that opinion being true forever, no matter what? Well, what's the point of that? Maybe I feel more comfortable, but it blocks me from exploring. You just have to look at science over the last 100 years. Cholesterol is good, cholesterol is bad. Physics was Newtonian physics, now it's quantum physics. Well, it's all science, but because we're learning, every time we learn something, our consciousness expands so we can see something new and different. Well, that means that we're always on a journey of curious exploration. It's just because somebody says it's not true doesn't mean it's not true. It just means somebody said it's not true. What if I continue to look for it? What if I continue to explore? What if I continue to ask the questions that are the right questions to let me continue to understand the deep truths that I don't know yet? If I still believe the same things today that I believed 10 years ago, I'm stuck. But I don't. I believe my beliefs are very different. And we don't know a lot of it. We have our unconscious self, which is things that are there we're not aware of. Okay. So that already tells me there's so much I don't know that I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep looking until I leave this body. I'm going to keep looking because I'm curious. So curiosity is number one. Second is having an inner commitment to be deliberate. What does that mean? That means that I'm not going to just do this because it's my automatic reaction. If you do something over and over again, it becomes a habit. Well, that habit actually started a long time ago as a decision, but I'm so removed from that decision, I'm doing it automatically now, and it may have nothing to do with today. I had something to do with 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and it's unexamined. So deliberateness says, I'm going to put a pause before I speak. I'm going to put a pause before I act so that I consider what's right now. Not what's right before, but what's right now. Because now is the relevant time, not the historical time. It doesn't mean I can't take the input from that, but I'm going to look for what is new and different about this moment. So I can make the decision, I can take the actions, I can speak the words that are appropriate to this very moment. That's number two, right? To have a commitment to deliberateness. The third thing is to act always with impeccable integrity. That's challenging because sometimes I don't even know I'm acting outside of integrity, but I can observe it by watching how people are reacting to me. See, well, if we understood that it's the key for us to understand ourselves is not to have other people tell us about ourselves, but to observe how other people are responding to me. So it tells me about me. It doesn't mean if Christine says, well, I don't like your thoughts. It doesn't mean anything. So, I'm talking in a way that's not clear. Or I'm talking in a judgmental way that's activating her judgment. So let me see what I can learn from this rather than have it be definitional, have it be informational. This is new
Ooh, that's
information for me to
amazing.
consider, right? Then, so I'm constantly looking to get feedback so I can say, oh, this is what's happening in me. So the more I get from you and others, then so I had somebody say something to me on Friday, and I thought, oh, I'm going to spend the next however long it takes. It took me about 4 hours to really understand what is this. I just took the rest of the day off. I just started taking it apart. Oh, there's that. And I kept looking and kept deeper and deeper. Finally, I got to something a number of things I didn't see before. Now I can now take new actions. I can act differently, and I will. But we have to do the work to just take these things apart. And so I have a commitment to integrity, to bring myself back to integrity of knowing myself, to act with deliberateness, and to be curious always. And finally, all of this is wrapped in love. Because love is acceptance of all. Whether I like it or not, it's love. Love is the fundamental, essential essence of the universe. And it's not love like they think about it. It's not like heart music's nice or pretty. No, it's acceptance of what is. Acceptance of what is. And if we accept what is, all this polarity we have will dissolve.
Powerful. Thank you, Thomas. One thing that has been playing in my mind is like most leaders have no balance in terms of their time. Like I see them very, very busy and building their companies, but at the cost of having no time for themselves, or taking a toll on their health, or taking a toll on their relationships. What can you say about that? So it can be in harmony and balance, and they be able to be in alignment with what they are as a human being.
Well, so there's two answers to this really. One is time is not real anyway, so we can just work with that. Time isn't linear. It's not what we think. The quantum physicists tell us that. The ancient mystics tell us that. But I'm not going to talk about that particular aspect here because it's a little longer conversation than the time we have. But let's look at it let's take time, use of time, like a resource. How aware are leaders of the impact of each choice of time they make on what matters most to them? So somebody comes in and says, we have to have a meeting in Tokyo tomorrow. I get on a plane, I'd be in Tokyo tomorrow. I was be in Frankfurt the day after tomorrow. I would be in Frankfurt the day after tomorrow because that was exciting, right? And that's what you do. Today, I'd like, well, let me ask some questions first. Why is my presence necessary? What is it that we're really trying to accomplish here? And is there other way to do that? It's very challenging because this whole thing we talked about earlier about responsibility of having a system where if everyone in the organization accepts responsibility, then the leader has a lot of free time. Right? So it's about redesigning the culture. And this culture is a complete expression of the true values the organization has. It's not a poster on the wall or something we read to ourselves like a mantra. No, it's who we are while we're there, always and consistently. So then the organization, especially the leaders, can then bring what their true talents are and gifts, which isn't to be the supervisor, which isn't to be the manager. It's there to inspire people. It's there to give guidance to people. It's there to give direction. There's plenty of time for that. And to have a full life. And we have some false understandings. So how easy is it to say, say to your child, I know I promised to come to your ball game tonight, but I have this important meeting and I know you'll understand. Or that vacation we're going to take, I can't go this year. Whatever we say, right? So we're basically saying that my business identity is more important than my promises to my family. Let's just tell the truth about it. So, and then we justify that. Well, if I don't have this identity, I can't make the money my family needs. No,
Yes.
that's not. That's
Yeah.
just all.
That's
The truth is, it's a lie.
it's
It's
a
a lie.
fallacy.
And
Mhm.
people tell I told myself this lie. No, it's not true at all. There are plenty of business leaders who have very rich and fulfilling personal lives, who are also very successful because they understand how to look at the truth of things and not get distracted with things that don't matter. Things that don't matter because they're about their personality, they're
Mhm.
about their ego, they're about how they look in the world. The true leaders don't care. What they care about is acting with truth and integrity and doing their right for so many people to produce something of great value. And whether they get credit for it or not, it's unimportant to them.
Hmm. Nice. So how about as just a mere human being for those who are starting, like in life? What can you share to them? How were
But
they able to become the fullest expression of themselves?
my favorite book is The Alchemist.
The Alchemist. Yes,
Paulo
by
Coelho's book, The
Paulo
Alchemist.
Coelho. Yes.
Start there. So, what is your personal legend? Which is the language he uses in there. What is it that's in you that's calling to be expressed? Now, I think there's three things to take in consideration here. The Alchemist is a good way to think about it, but I think it's a little more broad than that. So, from my viewpoint, we have a soul. Soul is
Mm-hmm.
that aspect of us that's the eternal part of ourselves that continues to be alive long after this body is no longer in form. But that soul has a purpose. Feel
Mm-hmm.
it, discover it.
Yes.
That's not only does that soul have a purpose, this body has a purpose. We call that our life purpose. And how do I bring harmony to my soul's purpose and my life's purpose? And then we also have something that the Buddhists and others have, which is called my dharma. What are my lessons for this lifetime?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let me get clear about that, and then let me do my professional work inside that space of what's my soul's expression for my life's purpose and my learning for this life. So I make sure I do that every day as a business leader. So I get myself in the right place that's possible, rather than somebody offered me a job and I said yes.
Mm.
So I disconnect myself because I'm thinking this will be good, but I don't go all the way. See, how is this aligned with who I truly am?
Mm.
And when I do that, then I have balance, then I have harmony, and then I have alignment. And that's the way to do it.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. It's many takeaways there today. So much wisdom from your expression. So my last question for you is, what's the best advice that you have received that you're still applying in your life up until now?
Good question. What I'd say was my father. My father was never impressed by what you said. He's always was interested in what you did. And how many of us say, I'm going to do this next week, or this thing I did, they want to announce that they get approval. How about just operate with impeccable integrity in your actions? And keep looking around. Am I operating with impeccable integrity in my actions? The reward is stupendous. It's not just myself, but the whole world benefits. So wouldn't I want to be a contributor to that? So just start with look back. Where do I have difficulties with others?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee it's going to be a place where there's lack of integrity 100% of the time. So just discover, oh, I see when I do this, I have a problem. I'm not in integrity. What can I learn from it? Don't judge yourself. Don't blame yourself. That's a waste of time. Simply learn and make the corrections so that next time it'll be different. And if you fall down again, learn again. Just keep bringing yourself back. Have the courage to keep coming back. And guess what? Won't be long before you're saying, my God, my life is so different.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Thank you. Thank you
You're
for
very welcome.
everything. And actually, there was one last question that came to me about abundance, Thomas. most people are looking after that, like I see how most people really think that if they have much wealth or much abundance in this world, that will answer their you know their happiness. um is there anything that you can share in that space
Well,
for
it's funny because, um, in the United States, um, the data about lottery winners, big lottery winners, people that win 50 million and plus, is that a majority of them are bankrupt within 10 years.
Mm.
So they have the money.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
why isn't that? Because they put money on top of a faulty foundation.
Mm.
So what are the keys? So it's true that the universe is abundant.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why is it that I want something? I want a car. I want a fancy house, whatever I want. Well, mostly it's because I have something inside of me that says, if I have that, then I'll be enough. If I have that, then I'll feel good about myself, whatever those are. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that only produces more suffering
Mm-hmm.
because I already have enough in me. I don't need any of that. Doesn't mean I can't create it. I'm creating it because I truly feel called to have that experience in my life, and not doing it because it's going to prove something about myself, but simply because I'm called to create it. Then I'll have an abundant life, no matter how much money I have. I had a fellow that I worked with, was a business partner of mine. He died last year, and he's worth $40 billion when he died. His
Mm.
life was, but large parts of his life were miserable. He's terrible health because he kept wanting more. So when I knew him, he's only worth $2 billion. Later he's worth $40 billion. So it's not about how much money, although it's available to me, it's what truly matters to me. Find that. I say, well,
Mm.
find in yourself, and then create from this place of who you are, not who you want to be.
Mm.
Because you build. That's why I talk about the strong foundation is who I am, not who I want
Oh
to be.
yeah, who I
These people create this money on who they want to be. I want to be thought of as rich. I want to think out whatever. Okay, good, you are now, but that didn't satisfy them because they never got to the real root of why they felt they were not enough.
Mm.
If they felt, no, I'm plenty, and that's really nice to have, and it didn't change anything about who they thought of themselves as. That's the foundation. So our work, if we want to have full abundance in our life, is to make sure we take care of having a clean, stable foundation of who we are, and having it be aligned with the truth, not this misperception, this illusion, who I think I need to be, which is
Mm.
just a waste of time.
Nice. Thank you. So what's your daily practice, Thomas? Like for those people who want to have a clean slate on a daily basis.
Well, I think every day starts with meditation.
Mm.
Meditation, a lot of people are frustrated with meditation. I think you stop thinking. No, you don't stop thinking at all. It just is practice so that as the thoughts arise, you don't put your attention on them.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts arise. So if I don't put attention on it, then I'm not distracted by it. And that's just a good practice. So many distractions around us, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
many. So
Yeah.
then I keep, and then my life is like I'm weaving back. But I'm going to go this way. I'm going to acknowledge the distraction and not have my attention go to it. Acknowledge it and bring my attention back here. So that's the important thing for people. So I start with meditation. I keep a journal. I look at
Mm-hmm.
my life. It's in so much that I reflect back on my journals. It brings it all the way through my body, so I can say, "Oh, I now can feel this. Now that I've written about it, I see it here. Then I own that. That's true for me." I'm constantly looking at what I can learn. I read a lot. About 25% of my day is just personal discovery.
Nice.
I
Wow.
always have time for that.
That's amazing. It's an amazing space. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you again, Thelma. So for those people who, would like to connect with you, where is the most
They can certainly email me. It's thomas@codesofhumanity.com. And I promise everyone who sends me an email will receive a response within 48 hours. Promise.
it's amazing. So once again, thank you for your time and yeah, have a wonderful day.
Thank you. See you soon.
All right.